A trip to the City of Angels in what has been a devil of a season. Outside of SoFi, some fans of the Burgundy and Gold.
Wait, whose side you on? Whose side you on? We here to support. I know you may be a spy. What side you on?
I'm from the DC. I'm from the media from DC.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
What do you think about the game today?
Nothing to win, nothing to lose. And we're excited to be here.
But we're going to show up strong.
That's right.
We're going to show up strong.
I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be looking like an offensive explosion.
It's going to be awesome. I think the Commanders are going to win this one, and we're going to be 5-9.
Hey, you got that W on your chest today. You think the Commanders are going to walk away with that W today?
Most definitely, most definitely. We might not make the playoff, but we got to win someday.
This is our best chance at a W the rest of the year. Right?
But on a beautiful day outside, another ugly loss would take place inside. What to make of what went wrong and why. And getting ready for the Jets on this Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus.
The man is back, y'all. We're back. Call your mama, call your daddy. We're back and we're back. We're back. Tony McGee's back, y'all. We're back. Tony McGee. Come on. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee. What's up?
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. Hey, fans, I hate to every week have to come here and make excuses, but I'm not making any this week. If you look at this team, they did a little bit better on Sunday, but not good enough. When you look at it, they're 4-10, you say, is it a change? Not just with coaches, maybe with the quarterback. But then you look at the end, at least they did try to hold up on Sunday, but that's not enough right now. So when I go out and get some of the people that really know what's going on this time. Santana Moss is on with us this week. What's happening, Tanner? How you doing?
What's up, everybody?
Alex, man, you were telling what's happening. You said Donna just got off the plane?
Donna just got off the plane, John.
That's when hey Tony, you know what? I had to go out there to try to look at this team and try to figure out what's going on. You know, just like the bad weather on the East Coast, that's what was on the West Coast with this team. And like you said, it doesn't matter about, they played a little bit better because the end results were the same, and they still not doing enough as a team, Tony, putting all three phases of this team together. Because when you look at it, Tony, nobody actually played well on Sunday.
Well, I think Payne played pretty well. And our receivers
pretty well is not good enough, Tony.
I know. I'm not going to give them an excuse. I told you I'm not going to make it this week. But at the same time, they stayed in the game. I think missing that fourth down, that kind of hurt them. And then you have your mistakes on special teams and you have kicks blocked. All of it comes in. And what you said, Donna, was so true. This team needs to become a team. But like one facet always mess up and one do well. And Tanner, you've been watching them all year. What did you see Sunday? I mean, they should have beat that game. I was worried.
Honestly, man, Tony, when you look at it, yes, it's the same outcome from the last, I guess you can say 5 weeks. But one of the things I wanted to see differently that I hadn't seen in a while was our defense create turnovers and kind of win the turnover battle. And that's something that I saw. Now, offensively, the thing that had me scratching my head is why wasn't we able to take advantage of some of them opportunities that the defense gave us? If you look at that game, it was 28-20 at the end. Mm-hmm. That game should have been they should have had way more points than that. Because if you think about it, that Rams offense had got into the red zone 3 or 4 times and came away with either 3 to no points. So when you have a team that's at home, that's creating that kind of I guess you can say ground and air attack and find themselves in the red zone and able to take advantage and wasn't able to take advantage of it offensively, we should have been able to do a little bit more. We wasn't, and that's probably why you saw what happened later in the game. And then you kind of now, I'm pretty sure everybody's scratching their head of probably what if if we would have saw this change early in the year, and why was this change made now?
You're exactly right.
Hey, Tony, let's stay right there with the quarterback situation because Jacoby Brissett was switched about 9 minutes left in the game. So with Sam struggling, when you look at Sam's production over the last probably 4 weeks, he hasn't played well. He struggled. I mean, you know, everybody talks about teams figuring you out, but I think right now Sam looks a little shell-shocked. Coach Rivera said he took him out because he didn't want him to take a pounding because they had lost Leno and then a couple of other offensive linemen. But still, if he had to put Jacoby in probably maybe in the third quarter, then he could have possibly rallied that team. But when you look at the offense as a whole, Tony, and like Santana said, they had opportunities with the 2 turnovers that the defense created. But I think when you're looking at Sam, and I like to get everybody's view on that, you know, he's going to start against the Jets. But to me, he looks like he's struggling a lot more in these last 4 games, you know, trying to get rid of the ball and being hit so much. I think that he's taken a step back with Jacoby. You know, everybody said he should be the starter moving forward, but that ain't got to happen because Ron Rivera is still trying to play out Sam for the rest of this year.
Well, the bad thing about it is it may not work out for either one of them. I would like to see a change, but at the same time, they feel like this young man is the person of the future. But you know what is happening? You said it earlier, that they have checked out his film. They know his movement. They know whenever he rolls out to the right, he's going to try to throw that ball some kind of way, or he'll run at the last minute. You never see him going to the left. So the tendencies are there. But you look at this team as a whole, they just didn't have it. You know, they made mistakes, and we can't just blame the offense. Special team, 2 big plays. And when your special team make 2 bad plays, but as I said, overall with the defense, except for Alex, what's happening that these wide receivers are running wide open? I mean, nobody even in the picture with them. What's going on?
Tony, we saw this against the Dolphins, where everybody knew going in the best offensive weapon on the Miami Dolphins is Tyreek Hill. And then somehow he's the guy. We know he's really good. I don't know if he's that good, but maybe it's oversimplifying from the outside. If I'm a fan, and that's really all I am, and I've covered this team and this sport for a while, I didn't play. But I do know there's something to the notion of, okay, on the other team, this guy is their best player. And we're going to do whatever we can, if not to stop him, then to at least contain him. And if somebody else is going to beat us, so be it. Well, then Sunday, Cooper Kupp, literally the closest defender, wasn't even on the screen, Tony. I mean, like, you know, you see the quarterback throw it, Stafford, and you're like, oh, this is a deep ball. It's kind of exciting. And then you expect a few people on the screen. There was one dude on the screen. It was Cooper Kupp. There was nobody within 40 yards of him. But we all know, and you played the game, and Santana played the game. I didn't play the game, and I know that he's their best player. So, like, I know that he's the one. They should do whatever they got to do to stop him or contain him. And if some other dude beats him, so be it. But that didn't happen. Tony, can I go back to the quarterback thing? Because somebody has to talk to me about this like I'm 5 years old. You and Santana played. This team is playing out the string. There's no playoffs, whatever. Ron Rivera says Sam Howell's going to be his guy for the rest of the year. They got to see what this looks like. Jacoby Brissett was great for 7 minutes or 8 minutes or 9 minutes. His numbers, Tony, 8 of 10, 124, 2 touchdowns, no picks, rating 157.9. Why is it that he can't be the starter next week? I don't get it. I understand. Oh, we got it. It's got to be Sam. Why can't it be this guy? If you're playing on that team, Tony and Santana, you got 3 games left. Do you want to try to win the games, or do you want to see if the quarterback that is supposed to be the quarterback of the future is really the quarterback of the future? Why can't the other guy be in the mix? Everybody just dismisses him. Oh, he's a journeyman. He can't be the guy. Why? Why? He looked good. I don't get it. I must be crazy. Somebody explain to me like I'm 5, why Jacoby Brissett can't play football.
Well, you know, we're going to go to the locker room soon, but let me answer that question for you. You know what? They have They rode that horse all year. You got 3 games left now. You got a problem. Everyone rumors around that you will not be here. So I guess the coaches felt like, hey, I've rode him all year. I'm going to let him ride it out. And see, everybody has figured that out right now. I'm like you. But even if they won these 3 games, Alex, what would it mean? And that's what the problem is. And I don't know what the feeling was down in the locker room. Did they feel like the season's over? Are they just playing out the string or what?
Well, Tony, you know, when and you and Santana can talk about this, because, you know, when you're on a team that has not won in 5 or so weeks and you're into the season, you know, you're just playing for the season. Pretty much what did Sweat say? They just wanted the season to be over. But right now, I think if you're a player and your heart is really, really in here, and Benjamin St. Juste talked about this, he said that he doesn't know about anybody else, but he goes out there to win games and everything. So I think this team wants to win. They want to finish strong. But, you know, the product is just not there, Tony, for them to do so. So I guess, Tony, Santana has to talk about this as a player, because he was out there too. Santana, what did you get as far as the feel of this team? You know, because to me, the energy wasn't there the whole game, even coming out of a team that's in the mix of stuff.
You know, I don't think that they're not trying to win games. I think if you looked at just how they approached that first half, they was playing inspired, you know, especially defensively. Offensively, it's just when it gets to a point where the things are not working, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the protection, whether it's just whatever it may be. You know, at one point we was looking at the screen, you know, the Jumbotron, you know, the big Jumbotron they had up there that was kind of just like, it was like mesmerizing that time. And they were just showing the stat line. And even when we was completing the football, Sam average was 3.9 or 3.5, you know, yards per completion. So it just wasn't opening up for him, whether it was he didn't see the stuff that he was trying to get to downfield. He was dumping it off. I can live with that. I'd rather live with that than see you take sacks or see you sitting in a situation of trying to, you know, hold on to the ball too much. But for some odd reason, I saw their defense expired. I mean, they was trying their hardest to show those different looks. 5 or 6 man coming. All right, at the last minute, we're gonna drop off 1, bring 5 or bring 4. They was trying to confuse and clutter things up for Sam, knowing that he's still young, he's still learning how to read everything on the fly, and knowing it was going to take him some time to decipher through some of that stuff before he can go out there and get rid of that football. So that's what I saw. And when you're in a situation like that as a team and it's not working offensively, and the defense has been giving you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, then your defense tends to say, okay, you know, now we're tired. Now some of the stuff that we was you know, dead on when it came to our coverage and being on our guy. Now we're kind of seeing, you know, doubles now, and that's how you get a guy like Cooper Kupp wide open downfield. When I looked at that play there, that was like this Sean being Sean, I think. Sean seen those tendencies of our defense. We have problems when we in bunch. We have problems when we got motion. And he said, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to keep showing them these different looks, and eventually somebody's going to sneak out of here and be wide open. And he did it at the perfect time, because if you thought about it, if you watch that game, the whole first half, we was on point. And it was the first drive of the second half when he did it, and he caught him snoozing. So it was just a team that got caught at the right moment. And when I looked at us change up the quarterback situation, I was kind of scratching my head saying, okay, was it that Brissett just went out here and got rid of that football on time, or was it that this Rams defense backed off because they felt like this game is over? But regardless of what it was, as a veteran quarterback, the things that I saw from him was, I'm going to get this ball to the person who's going to be a difference maker. I'm going to make sure that regardless of what happens, I'm throwing the ball to my playmakers. So that tells me you have a young guy that's trying to do a lot right, and at times he's doing it wrong because he's trying too hard. It's simple, you know, get the ball to the guys that's going to make the plays, and it will make your life that much easier as a QB.
Hey, Tony, I want to ask you a question.
That's where
Tony,
he was showing. Before
you go to break, Tony, before you go to break, could you answer this? this Commanders team, Tony, was down in the red zone at the 1-yard line several times, Tony, and they came punching in. They keep running up the middle. That's not the strength of this offensive line as far as being able to run in between the middle of your offensive line. They did it several times, Tony, and they weren't able to get it into the end zone. They set down Antonio Pierce in the second half. I'm not understanding why, because he started the game. They put in Chris Rodriguez. But Tony, what are you seeing in the red zone where this team, not just this game, Tony, but in past games, they keep trying to run up the middle and get nothing?
Well, that's the only way that they did it. When you get down there, it's just like Philadelphia. Right now, they have that play. Nobody can stop. You want to play like that because throwing in it's a smaller area for the defensive back to have to cover. So when they get down there, they want to power it in, but they just do not have the personnel to do that. And as long as they keep getting these opportunities and not taking advantage, you're right. The defense will let down eventually. The whole team will let down. And I've been in teams like this where you lose so many games. Everybody's looking when they come in the locker room to see who's gone next. And that's what they're doing right now. You're looking at this team, and I hope the young players know that it is not just going to be coaches going. There's going to be some people going because this is not football. We're going to have to take a little break right now. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about defense played pretty well down. I noticed you jumped over that. They did okay. They did okay, but special teams.
How many points did they score on them?
We'll be back in a moment. Don't ask that question.
Next.
Like, this isn't a product of who he is as a man. He's a good kid. I mean, he's top 10 in the league in passing for a reason. You know what I mean? He's a good player. It was just that point in the game where it's just like just get ready for next week, And like I told him, like, man, like, he's going to be a good player in this league for a long time. Like, this shouldn't discourage him or anything. Like, that's like my little brother, man. I always have his back. And literally every time I was off the field, I was talking to him because, I know how this moment could feel. I've been in these similar situations, maybe a little different, but it's similar situations. And the key is just, you just can't be discouraged, can't lose confidence. And I'm sure he won't. And I'm sure he'll come back and be better from this.
He's very confident in his ability. And every time he gets out there, he's confident in what he's seeing. He gives guys a chance to make plays. So, honestly, I didn't expect anything different for him coming in because just the way he handles his business, coming in each and every day and being ready, the way he's a leader. He keeps things light. He keeps things fun. He's one of my favorite teammates I've played with up until this point, honestly. And, it was really cool to see him get in there and show what he can really do. And it definitely gave us a boost late. We had our opportunities in third and shorts, fourth and short. We just got to find a way to continue drives and get in the red zone and finish, because that saves time and it allows us to have more momentum. So, it's tough that we got going late like that, but to answer your question, we still wholeheartedly believe in Sam.
I feel like we just kept playing, like no matter what the score was. We just went out there with our heads down and just played. But maybe if we would have got a couple more stops and played a little harder, maybe we'd be on the other end of this.
Didn't come away with the win, but talk about some of the good things that the defense did today.
I think we started off fast with like 2 turnovers in the first half. Wish we could have kept it up with another 2 in the second half to kind of help propel the offense to get in a great position to score. But we stopped them at what they wanted to do, which was running the ball in the first half, limiting the explosive plays. We gave up a few here and there, but we were still in the game. So we're kind of looking to eliminate completely all of that.
No, we just got to be more disciplined. Teams make plays, but you got to work on not giving them freebies. That's kind of been our Achilles heel all year, giving up 1 or 2 big plays. And, just got to keep on getting in the film room, keep on locking in, keep on communicating, and try to eliminate those.
I'm not going to say anything down it, but some of the things they said they need to do. I'm going to tell you, I like what I'm hearing
Don't
there.
do it, Tony. Don't do
No,
it.
I told you, thank you, Santana. Santana, he's
Don't do
trying
it.
to give them a little hope as far as they said good thing. But at the end, Tony, what did they say? Didn't do enough to get the wins, giving up big plays when they shouldn't give them up. All those things, Tony. You know, at the end of the day, this team still has not played well enough to win games.
But you know what? We have been talking week in and week out, and I'm going to ask Santana this, but Seth, he went right to his money, man. He went to Terry right away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that was a good move? Because to me, they always wait to Terry is in the end the last few weeks. I've been asking on the show each and every week, why don't they go to the playmaker? What do you think about that, Santana?
I think it was obvious we was trying to get him involved early. But like I said before, when you have a young guy and he's trying to, I guess you can say, be as coachable as possible, sometimes they kind of, tend to not go and play football. It's something I spoke about after the game, on our post-game show right after the game. It's about overcoming coaching. Everything, we've been talking for weeks about how many guys are touching the ball. And that's look fine and dandy, but if you ain't winning, now it doesn't look so glaring no more, But I think the objective is just to get the guys that's going to make a difference the ball. And whether that's through the offensive coordinator or just through that guy who's throwing the ball, who's distributing the ball, you have to know who's going to be the guy. And it's no, coincidence that Terry was able to come down with the ball in that back of that end zone with a guy draped all over him and score a touchdown, and then had a second touchdown that he was just inches away from if it's needed in touch. That's not something that, we just finding out that he can do. He's been doing that since day one. So that's why I find it hard, because I've been in those shoes. So it's almost laughable at times when I'm watching. I'm like, so you mean to tell me now we're going to go to this guy again? But I've been here before. But it just seems like it's one of those revolving doors when it comes to how we do things around here. I don't know. I don't understand if that's a coincidence or not. But I was happy to see Brissett get in there and say, bing, bam, touchdown. You know what I'm saying? He distributed the ball. He didn't go directly to Terry, but he got it to the open guy, and then he hit his guy one-on-one. And that's just being a veteran, seeing the field, understanding the leverage that Terry had, understanding the coverage, and he liked that one-on-one matchup, so he went at it.
Seeing the field, Tony.
Yeah, but you know what, Alex had a good point, though. Why can't he be starting this week? I know they want the young guy, and he's the future.
Santana, you can speak to the sure wide receiver. We all know that the quarterback of the future is supposed to be Sam. He may very well be. This other guy was great. He can only do what he can do when he's in there. By the way, what a pro in the locker room to you, Donna. That sound you played when he said he could have come off that field, 2 TDs, no picks. I should be starting, or at least giving off that vibe. And he was like, I support Sam. That's like my little brother. I'll do whatever I can. He's about that guy's a pro. And I don't know why anybody, Santana, please tell me, if you were playing next week against the Jets, who would you rather have throwing the ball to you? That is a very different question than who is the quarterback for the next 10 years. We don't know that answer. Don't we play one game at a time? Isn't that how this works? Santana, who would you rather have next week throwing the ball to you? You're the best receiver on the football team.
I'm going to answer that question from experience. I'm going to answer that question from experience. I'm pretty sure you guys remember this. It was back in, if I'm not mistaken, 2007. And Jason Campbell went down because of injury. And Todd Collins came in, and we went on a little tear. And Todd Collins was distributing the football to the right guys. Things started moving offensively. We was able to move the ball without being so stagnant. And Jason Campbell was a young quarterback. And I remember, we've always heard this thing in our league or our game, rather, that no player should be able to lose his position or his spot to an injury. So when Jason came back off an injury, he was kind of bothered by him not being able to come back and be the starter. And it was only because we was winning games and we was finding a way to move our offense with Todd. Now, I would say this. Having Sam go out there and do what he did this past week, I'm sure there's some things that the coaching staff seen that he did what they asked him to do. And then late in the game, I really believe the only reason why he was pulled, this is my honest opinion, is because when he made that poor decision of throwing across his body and throwing that interception. I truly believe that was the kind of, you know what, that's the line in the sand. I have to go ahead and say he crossed it, and I can't put him back out there because it was the guy right in front of him. I'm pretty sure if he would have probably been paying attention or saw it, he could have hit somebody that was wide open on the sideline right in front of him. But no, neither here to say. I just feel that even with that being said, and even with that position or that decision being made, it's hard to just say I'm not going to go out there with him. I do believe that if he goes out there, if they do start him because they plan on starting him, they're doing so because they don't want to lose what they, I guess you can say, they developed or built up this whole season with the kid. They don't want to break what they built when it comes mentally or physically, and so they're going to put him out there. But I do believe if he's not doing some of the things that they want to see, Brissett is probably going to be sitting there ready to go because he knows that at the end of the day, this staff knows we have to put the best thing on the field that's going to give us a chance to really, I guess you can say, add on to their resume before the season's up.
Well, you know what? You just answered the question. I'm gonna answer it again for the simple reason that it's not just the quarterback they need to change. If they're going to try to look at people, they need to change some of those offensive linemen, and they really need to change some defensive backs. So let's just don't talk about one position. But now I'm looking at 3 games left. They figure, okay, we're gonna ride with him and look. I would have to look at somebody else and see what they're doing. And I have to take a look at it to give it because we already know it's a bunch of guys in the locker room that got their cars parked up to the stadium, just waiting to get that check and leave. So what I want to see now is who's going to play, who's going to be in the foxhole with me for 3 games. Not, I want people that want to win. I don't want to go out there, even if we are what we are, 4-10. I want to go out to those 3 games and see can we be 7-10. It's not a winning record, but it's a better record. So, you know, my thought process, you need to, now that you're out of it, and you're one of the only 2 or 3 teams that's out of the playoff, let everybody play.
Hey, Tony, you said that who's in the foxhole? What's a lot of these players is in the foxhole. Let's start with the long snapper, Tony, has struggled all season long, Cameron Cheeseman. He even said that if he was on another team, he probably would have been cut by now. That's his words in the locker room after the game. So Ron Rivera has looked at him at other points of the season because he's been struggling. I mean, you almost lost Tressway because of that bad snap at one time. So you need to kind of like look at that, Tony, because if you lose your best special teams player in Tressway, when he went down possibly for concussion, a back injury because of bad snaps, it wasn't just one bad snap in that game. It was multiple snaps that's been bad all year long. So we look at the long snapper when assessing that right now moving forward. Then you look at, like you said, Tony, the secondary. The secondary, when I watch that game, Tony, they give up receivers 5 to 10 yard cushion. You're going to get completed balls giving up that much cushion. And then all year long, you saw busted plays where a receiver is running free, Tony. So when you look at all of those things and assessing the defense, of course, the defense hung in there because the offense at the first half, Tony, I looked at the stats. They had 83 total yards of offense the first half to the Rams 267 or something like that. So when you assess this team as a whole, we're pointing out different little parts of this team. But if we look at this whole team, they are underperforming all the way around. And coaching, has the defense, Tony, got better under Ron Rivera? Absolutely not. What are you seeing, Tony, on defense when you look at all of these busted plays? I can't understand how you give up 5 to 10 yard cushion. Santana be getting touchdowns all over the place. You give up that much cushion.
Yeah, and you know they're so afraid of getting beat, and that's why they're doing that, because they're a little bit agitated when people talk about them. But at the same time, every time they make a play, those same defensive backs jumping up and throwing their hands up and all that. All you do is make it seem when the next time you see the guy catching the ball and you're not even in the frame. So I look at that. I also look at the things that defensively with this team, they got rid of their 2 best pass rushers, and you can tell that. And I saw in the middle and in the run-wise, if anybody studied this, you look at the big defensive tackles. Whenever it's a long down or it's going to be a pass rusher, they kind of feel that way. Both of them have a great outside move. But what it does is when they run that ball, when they do that, one big play on Sunday that they did that, both of them are going outside, so the middle is wide open for the quarterback to throw or to run. So I tell you what, losing those 2 defensive linemen, I don't even want to say their name now because it's a shame they're not here. We see what that meant. Then they got rid of the coordinator, which, okay, we can understand that. But to answer your question, they did look a little bit better on Sunday. They hustled a little bit, but it wasn't good enough. When we come back, we'll talk about it wasn't good enough. But at the same time, we're going to talk about a special team who made 2 terrible mistakes, and that may have cost them the game. We'll be back in a second.
What's up?
Well, welcome back. Now, when we were going out, Donna said she had some more she wanted to say. But I did leave it with the special teams made 2 terrible mistakes on Sunday. But what do you have to say, Donna? How would you have changed the outcome?
I would have changed the outcome with a win. That's for one, Tony. But you talked about that the reason why the DBs are giving up so much cushion, that 5 to 10 yards, is because they don't want to get beat. Well, if that's the case, Tony, they shouldn't be on the field because you can't afford, you already given them a first down if you give up that much room. So to me, if you're a DB and you're trying to get better in shutting down receivers, it's not like the Rams had the top receivers. Cooper Kupp is not one of the top receivers that they had to play before. But when you look at stopping or putting a body on them, it's got to be better than backing up and just basically saying, come on, here's an open field, just take it. Come on, Tony. You got it.
A lot of players do that because they don't want to get beat on television either, but it doesn't matter. If you get beat, you get beat. So, and the thing about it is we have seen guys run wide open for 3 weeks. How long have those 2 defensive linemen been gone? About 4 or 5 weeks. We didn't see a lot of that before. But let's get to the
That's all year long. We've been seeing that all year long. Those plays where they've getting beat. Santana, where Tony been at? What game he's been watching?
They had some good games. Now,
I think Tony napped a little bit. He's been napping a little bit.
Hey, Tony, said you've been napping.
He's been napping a little bit.
Were you napping during the game, Tony?
I must have been. Hey, let me ask you something. We got the Jets coming up. What team do you think we'll get? Because some weeks they look like if they had the right quarterback, they could be a finalist. Then the next week they get blown out. What do you think? This team needs a win, even though it's only 3 games left. What do you guys think about the Jets?
Is Aaron Rodgers playing? Aaron Rodgers, I'm trying to understand how Achilles injury. How are you going to come back this quick to play? And at this point, the Jets are out of the playoffs. They had a chance if they won on last Sunday, but they lost, so they don't have anything to play for but pride too, Tony. So would you start Aaron Rodgers this week to play the rest of the season, or are you basically saying, hey, let's just keep you hold on to you next year for next year? It's a back. They're like the Commanders almost, Tony. Really, when you look at these 2 teams, 1 week you show up, 1 week you don't. And the Jets played good at one moment, but it's going to be interesting to see who they're going to play at quarterback.
Well, not only that, hey, Alex, they have one of the best defenses, even though they've lost a lot of games, but their defense is a pretty good defense. They're going to give Washington a problem.
Yeah,
no doubt. Jets defense, this is part of the reason probably Aaron Rodgers decided to go there in the offseason. defensively, they're as good as almost anybody or can be. But obviously, the quarterback situation, Rodgers plays, 4 or 5 plays before the Achilles injury. Zach Wilson's been in, and then he was out, and then he didn't want to come back in, and then he did come back in, and then they lost 30-0 on Sunday to Miami. Yeah, defensively, that's the hallmark of this team. Offensively, they're a train wreck. Both teams are out of it. How excited are we for Commanders Jets? I don't know. But again, Tony, just before 30 seconds ago, you said, we want to go out and try to win the game. If you're trying to win the game, one of the quarterbacks in burgundy and gold looked a lot better than the other quarterback in burgundy and gold. But I guess they're going to see if they play the other guy. That does not mean that Sam Howell can't be the quarterback for the next 20 years. Those are not mutually exclusive. One guy looked great on Sunday. The other one didn't. And they're going to play the guy, I guess, to not hurt his feelings, to see what they've got, to see if they want to draft somebody. It's just a mess. I would play the best people, whatever Sunday is, wherever it is, and try to win a game. But I must be out of my mind. And I think a lot of fans would think I am because all they care about is draft position. That's fine. Back to your question about the Jets defense. They're really good, Tony.
All right. All right.
Uh-oh. That's the problem.
You act like you're still mad about the quarterback, but let me ask you.
I'm still mad about the quarterback thing. I don't understand. I don't get it.
You asked me a question, I'm going to tell you. I wouldn't play Aaron Rodgers right now, but they put so much money in it. They want him to, if he can show anything. I don't think it's fair for him or be fair for the team. Because if he goes back out there at his age, 38, whatever he is, 38, 39, get hurt again, then his career is over. So why you do that? You're not in the playoffs. You don't have a chance. So if it were I would not play him. But they may play him because they gave him so much money and they want to see him out there.
Well, he's super. You know what? I don't know. He must have some super drugs. But Aaron Rodgers is the one, Tony, that wants to play. It's not them forcing him. He wants to basically say whatever he's done to get well or get back on the field, he wants to prove, I guess, people that you can come back quickly. Ageless quarterback. He wants to prove something to himself and to people. It's Aaron Rodgers, and we know how Aaron Rodgers is, Tony. It's on him.
But it's on him, but I think a lot of those, though.
Yeah, that'll be stupid of Aaron. Go ahead, Tony. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I say, I understand Aaron trying to, I don't know if he's trying to psych himself out or psych the team out of saying that, hey, just to kind of give them some kind of, I guess, something to hang their hat on about him trying to come back. But if he's really thinking big picture, man, he want to be there for longer than just this year. I mean, he's too up there in age to be trying to, I guess, prove a point. And what if you do come back? I mean, we clearly see him out there practicing and stuff like that. But what if you do go out there and you're able to play? What point are you really proving? Because I'm sure with that offensive line, it's not going to be no different than what we saw that first game of the season. So I just think that, hey, I'm cool with seeing him, work himself back into even being able to practice again this year. But talking about playing a real football game this year, man, it's nonsense. I think whoever's in charge over there, whoever believe in him, from the owner standpoint, head coach, whoever it is, whatever doctor, I would be telling the team, do not put him in the game. It's okay to see him out there doing some things to kind of, give him some morale. But, besides that, don't put him out there. Don't risk that.
Hey, Tony, you was in physical therapy. Tony, you were in physical therapy. You had a business. For Aaron Rodgers to even be contemplating coming back off of Achilles injury, is that possible? And how can he get hurt again and be out even longer?
Yes, but they have such new technology now, Donna. They've changed it so much. I saw a big offensive tackle I played with, Leon Gray. He snapped his Achilles, and he came back and he played the next year. But it's still, at that time, it always took at least a year to get back. Maybe they're doing something different. Maybe he did not have a complete tear. But anytime you with that Achilles, you usually giving up a year where you can get back. Now, because he's practicing now, does not mean that he's ready to play. It doesn't mean he can't take hits. He got to see when he stopped and try to plant that what'll happen. So I'm like Santana. You see, you can tell that Santana and I are older football players. I'm way older.
Don't put me out there with you, Tony.
You know, come on, man, you on my team now.
Hey, yeah, I'm on your team. I'm on your team now. You're right.
But you look at it, and you just don't take chances like that. I know that he got paid a lot of money and everything, but give me next year. You see my defense still held up. Wilson's never been any good, and it seemed like he's never going to be any good. So let him get well and let him come in next year and be ready, and they'll be one of the top teams around the league. But speaking around the league, Donna, few funny games, isn't it? A few funny games.
Let's talk about that. The Dallas Cowboys needed to win Sunday, and they went up to Buffalo and, got beat bad by the Bills. And you had said, going up there to Buffalo would be hard, and they ran on Dallas, exposed them a little bit. And this week, Tony, Dallas is at Miami to play the Dolphins, and they're without Tyreek Hill because of that ankle injury. Dallas coming off that loss, the Dolphins won. How do you see that playing out? Because Dallas needs to win to stay up there with the Philadelphia Eagles.
We're going to have to take a break now. When I come back, I'm glad you gave me that information. I wish you'd given it to me before we did our pick. I didn't know Tyreek was all the way out. But when we come back, we'll talk about that.
And so this time of year, I like to do a workout called cardio and weights, cardio and weights, cardio weights, cardio weights, cardio weights. I like to mix them up. It's like almost like a hybrid of the two. And what that is, that keeps the heart rate elevated. It keeps the muscles moving, and it also keeps the metabolism high. So we want to do that as we going through these weeks of eating sweets and starches and all that stuff. People like to wait till the 1st of January. Don't do that. Let's start now for our New Year's resolution. Start now, so by the time you get in January, you've been comfortable, you've been familiar with what you've been doing, and you created a pattern. You created that habit. So let's create that now by starting this workout, which is cardio and weights, that you're gonna have fun with.
So Ricky, let's get going.
Let's get it. Let's do it. Shoulder press. You're gonna hold it for 2 seconds, back down. Hold it for 2 seconds, back down. Then you come over here. Now we got curls. Hold it for 2 seconds, back down. Hold it for 2 seconds, back down. And go. There you go, 2 seconds. Hold. Big mama right there with the weights. Easy curls. Don't get the little small mama. We're gonna drop down to a little mama in about 2 more rounds. But the first 2 rounds you're gonna use that big mama.
Well, Ricky Irvins again getting me ready for that Christmas eating time, and also, you all need to get in the gym because you know you're going to eat a lot during this Christmas holiday. So, Tony, let's get back and go around the league. The Dallas Cowboys got beat up by the Buffalo Bills. But this week, Tony, they've got to face the Miami Dolphins without Tyreek Hill, who's nursing an injury. Not for sure if he'll be back. Dallas must win, Tony, to stay even with the Philadelphia Eagles. That loss is key for them. How do you see this game playing out between the Cowboys on the road against the Dolphins?
Well, I have to stay with what I said. I said the Dolphins were going to win. That's before I knew Tyreek was out. But at the same time, I still think they will win down there. They play better. They got a good offense. Their defense is coming on a little bit. Dallas is shell-shocked right now.
Hey, you agree with that, Santana?
I'll have to go with Tony, man. I'm gonna pick the mullets.
Okay. So the Browns seem to be waking up at the crucial time, trying to make that playoff run. Got to face the Texans, who had lost 2 games before Sunday. Alex, who do you see winning that game? The Browns are on the road at facing the Texans.
I always tend to go home team because I think it does matter still, maybe not what it used to back in the day. But in this case, I'm going with Joe Flacco. my fellow University of Delaware Blue Hen, because I went there back in the day and he went there back in the day. Santana, I'm not throwing you under the bus like Tony did, talking about we all played 100 years ago. Tony didn't play that long ago, and Santana, it seems like you were just playing. Back to my man Flacco. He's got something going. It's kind of like Brissett. I know I keep going back there, but sometimes these veteran dudes who are journeymen can get it done. Difference is Commanders don't have anything to play for. The Browns do. So do the Texans. I'll go road team, Joe Flacco. That defense is really good. Cleveland's. I'll go with the Browns.
Yeah, Flacco's been there before, too. Do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex is still salty talking about the Commanders and the quarterback. You can't let that go. But, Tony, the Jags got beat up by Baltimore. Baltimore is just basically playing solid ball. They'll be behind, but they really took the Jaguars to school, and they're playing the Bucs in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay needs to win, has been playing up and down, but both of these teams, Tony, are still trying to get in the playoffs. How do you see this playing out between the Jags and the Bucs? Todd Bowles. Is that
Where's
Tampa?
the game being played?
Is that Tampa?
Okay, Tampa have a good chance then. They play better at home. They did fall off a little bit. I don't like their offense as much as they should have a little bit more. But if they play the right way, they can win that game. And they have a little experience. You got to think about it. There's a lot of players on that team that went to the Super Bowl with them. So you got to think that I'm looking at Tampa.
Yeah, that's what everybody say, that just because they're playing at home. But the Jags need to win, Tony. But Santana, you got Seattle at the Titans, and the Titans needed to win this past Sunday too. That team is up and down. You don't know which team is going to show up, and Seattle has played up and down too. How do you see that playing out this week? Seattle is playing the Titans at home.
I think Seattle could pull it off. I'm going with Gino, the hometown guy. Gino, mom and dad went to school with me, so I'm gonna go ahead with Gino.
You going with the heart. The heart is not always the way to go with. Tony, the Chicago Bears, one of your old teams, Tony, is playing the Cardinals. And it's the funny thing about it is everybody, with the way the Chicago started off the season, everybody thought that they were going to be at the bottom, but they seem to be playing better ball right now. Who do you like between the Cardinals and the Bears? And what do you see in that Bears team right now?
I see one of our players that should be playing here with us.
Oh, you saw him too. You saw him too.
Ever since they got Sweat, they've been playing better. They got a lot of good individuals. What that team needs now is to play as a team, and that's what they're doing a little bit better right now. I look at it depends. Is the game in Chicago?
Yes.
They'll win.
That's
all I need to say.
So you said
they still call my name in Chicago, don't you?
Black high tops. Black high tops.
Yeah, they still calling my name. I told
Tony.
Get off the pom-poms. So everybody, I want you to answer this question. When you look at the league right now, and everybody is jarring, we got 3 games to go before the playoffs. The 49ers are playing well. You got the Baltimore Ravens. Who is setting themselves apart right now with heading into the playoffs of everybody across the board? Who do you like? Starting with you, Santana.
I think San Francisco has really, set the tone and showed that when they have all their guys healthy, that they can be that Super Bowl caliber team on, in all levels, special teams, defense, and offense. And Brock Purdy, I don't think people talk about it enough. We've heard people talking about why he shouldn't, but me as a receiver, I got this guy. If it's not Tyreek Hill, if he doesn't, eclipse 2,000 yards, Brock Purdy would be my MVP.
Alex and Tony, you got the final word on that. I'll
jump in real quick, Tony. The Baltimore Ravens do what they do. And Lamar Jackson is playing as great as he's ever played, and that's saying a lot. That defense is great. They run the ball. They look great at Jacksonville on Sunday night, going into a kind of a tough place, primetime game. Game meant so much to Jaguars, and Baltimore took that thing with relative ease. Not ease, but they inserted themselves. That team is great. The Niners and the Ravens are so similar. Those defenses, the offenses can pound the ball, but also can throw. Lamar can do almost whatever he wants. I think the Ravens-Niners, who I think play this week, is going to be a Super Bowl preview.
Nobody is saying anything about the Eagles.
I just want to go out on this note. Who said last week that the two best teams in the league are the Ravens and the 49ers? That's all I'm going to leave you guys with. When we come back, we'll look at the standings and everything, find out I was right on that too. We'll be back in a moment.
In the Minute with Tony and Donna. You can catch them weekly on their podcast, and you could also subscribe to their YouTube channel, In the Minute. Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Speakers Bureau offers you various opportunities to connect with former and current players along with Tony and the crew. For more information, go to redmagplus.com Speakers Bureau.
One more thing.
39 years. Not many shows can claim a streak like that, but Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus sure can. Tony McGee, a burgundy and gold legend on the field and for decades now on the air, is once again excited to bring his one-of-a-kind program to his legion of fans across the Mid-Atlantic. How to last so long? By always delivering unique, insightful, entertaining, and oh yeah, fun, lots of fun, week in and week out. Tony's cast includes the legendary Gary Clark, the impeccable Donna Hopkins on the Burgundy and Gold beat for decades now, as well as icons from Washington football, past and present, not to mention the Pro Football Hall of Famers who flock to Tony's show year in and year out. There is not a show dedicated to football fans like this one, and the proof is in the almost 4 decades that Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus has been the go-to stop for fans who want content that only Tony and crew can deliver. This season promises to be yet another exciting one for the team, the league, the show, and its fans, and we want you to be a part of it. There are sponsorship opportunities to fit your business's goals, 30 and 60-second targeted commercial spots, weekly segments dedicated to promoting your brand, on-air guest opportunities for you to share your company's mission, and so on. We'd love to discuss tailoring a sponsorship program that is just right for you, both in scope and in cost. For sponsorship opportunities, call 703-282-0792 or email info@redmagplus.com. Be a part of this historic season on this historic show, Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. 39 years and the millions of viewers over those years can't be wrong.
We got a little time left for you. Take a look at the picture. You see that it's still tight a little bit, but the one pick I'm so happy with that Dallas got blasted. Now let's talk about it, guys. Going around, and we've had this discussion. I'll start with Alex because we only got a few minutes. But Alex, you wish they would change quarterbacks. Who would be your quarterback these last 3 games?
Well, it would be Brissett just for this game and then see what happens. I don't think starting him means Sam Howell can't be the guy of the future. I just think he looked great, and why can't he prove that he belongs to stay here? If not the franchise quarterback, a quarterback that can get it done. I just don't get it.
Donna.
Whoever is going to give him the best chance to win, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Santana.
No, I don't want to answer it. I'm gonna say Sam would start it off, but I don't know who would finish it. Might be somebody different.
Good answer there. And I tell you what, it's been a good show. It hasn't been what we wanted, and hopefully they'll start the right person. That's the only way I'm going to put it. And they already said who they're going to start, so let's hope he's the right one. But as we do on this show, as I tell you, we never say goodbye, but I'm going to do something different. This time I'm going to say happy birthday again to my mom.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out. yourself